Music, theatre. This is what brings us together. But in a time of social distancing, how is it faring? And what role does it play in a society under lockdown?
It's devastating, the impact on our income, on our ability to perform. What we're really concerned about is both getting through this period, but also having the resources to start performing again. It's an expensive business.
But faced with adversity, artists and venues are finding innovative ways to bring people joy online, like the National Theatre Live, streaming on YouTube every Thursday.
We can create a sense of entertainment, escapism, but also community. When I last looked, 2.2 million people had watched One Man, Two Guvnors, which is just kind of extraordinary. We can also see the audience has skewed quite young, and hopefully that means that when theatres are open again, that we'll be able to attract a younger audience into the theatre.
Another venue facing difficulty is the South Bank Centre.
Nothing beats the live experience, but people are finding all sorts of inventive new ways to communicate. I mean, you can't keep a musician or a poet quiet for long. I know we'll see much more inventiveness and quality of work on those different digital platforms. So I think that could be another positive.
One of the biggest events Londoners are missing is the centenary of Ravi Shankar, the sitar legend credited with bringing Indian music to the West. Over spring, a festival of shows, talks and exhibitions had been planned when the musician would have turned 100.
We're still celebrating Ravi Shankar's music and his legacy through making available lots of material across our digital channels.
Various artists have posted tributes online, led by Shankar's two musician daughters, Nora Jones and Anushka Shankar.
He was just so influential. It's so hard to quantify how influential Ravi Shankar actually was. Probably the most famous Indian classical musician there has ever been.
Though music, like theatre, is struggling, our need for it is greater than ever. Faced with uncertainty and more hours in the day to fill, Ravi Shankar may be just what we need.
He always felt music was the best healing medicine for anyone. Sound is God. That was his philosophy. It was like breathing in and breathing out. In fact, I used to say, I'm the second wife, I waited all these years to do this centenary, but it doesn't matter. It can wait. You will be saving so many lives. Stay back, stay home. That's what he would have said.
What is age after all?
I celebrate him every day, and I will continue to celebrate him.
Literature is feeling mixed effects. Though supply chains have been derailed, sales surged as people prepared for lockdown. Some good news for Ravi Shankar, whose autobiography by Oliver Crask has just been published in book form and online.
I mean, I've spent probably much of the last 2 years at home working at my desk and going out for a walk once a day. Maybe 18 months of writing and then about 6 months of therapy to get over it. Ravi Shankar recorded something like 240 albums, so there's plenty to keep us going in our isolation.
Right now, during the global lockdown, artists are particularly vulnerable. Streaming services pay them a pittance. So it's a good time actually to support musicians and writers and artists by buying records, CDs and books and downloading music direct from artists rather than streaming it.
Coronavirus may change art long after it has left us. It has changed the way we access art, brought in new audiences and fueled creative supply and demand. Economically, it will also be far-reaching. They ask those who can afford it to consider donating and to buy music, art, and hopefully their future.